Nope. Anyone here for public comment? Nope. Okay. Next up, Public Safety Facilities Committee, charge and a vote. So as had been recommended by council and by our OPM and honestly, I forget who else, maybe it was someone on the Town of Cohasset Public Safety Working Group, it's appropriate for us to make this a fully charged committee, which means that their meetings have to be posted. They're required to have a quorum at their meetings. They're required to have minutes and have the minutes posted at their meetings. So I put together this charge, which basically is their mission statement on their webpage on our Town of Cohasset website. So I will just read it quickly. In accordance with the 2023 special town meeting vote and the select board 2024-2026 goals, the select board charges the Public Safety Facilities Committee as follows. In accordance with Public Safety Facilities Working Group mission. Mission of the Public Safety Facilities Working Group is to unite the community on a shared goal, ensuring Cohasset's police, fire, and emergency services have safe, modern, and ADA compliant facilities that enable them to protect and serve effectively today and for generations to come. Grounded in facts and informed by public input, the group will balance the town's infrastructure needs with fiscal responsibility and long-term community priorities. The realigned Public Safety Facilities Committee will continue to work with the Public Safety Facilities Working Group, will continue with the work the working group has begun, including but not limited to engaging and listening to residents so community voices shape the final recommendations, evaluating all viable options for improving Cohasset's public safety facilities at 135 King Street and the existing Elm Street station, reviewing space needs, operations, and long-term capital requirements for police, fire, and emergency management, providing clear, transparent information on project scope, costs, funding options, and timelines, sharing progress regularly through public meetings, this webpage, and town communication channels. The Public Safety Facilities Committee is represented by representatives from the Select Board, the Advisory Committee, the Capital Budget Committee, public safety chiefs from police and fire, along with departmental representation, Town Manager's Office, the head of SEMA, and citizens at large. The Public Safety Facilities Committee will present revised project plans for 135 King Street to the Select Board, Capital Budget, and Advisory Committees for review, along with cost estimates and rationale for design changes since the original plan of fall of 2025. The work is targeted for completion for annual town meeting, May 5th, 2026, but no later than special town meeting 2026. Does anyone have any questions on this, Mr. Flex?
The last thing I want to do is open up wordsmithing.
That's okay.
But in the third paragraph, we mention ADA compliance. We don't mention any of the other compliance issues. As a suggestion, if there is an opportunity for wordsmithing by striking ADA dash, it would be inclusive of ADA issues. And that would also expand the charge to include other relevant compliance issues that we hope to resolve. So strike the 4 characters ADA hyphen.
Okay.
Is my proposal.
And compliant, okay. Have safe, modern, and compliant facilities. Right?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, because of like the level 4, you're talking about things like that? Okay.
That makes sense.
We don't remove ADA as a compliance issue. We make it inclusive of ADA and other compliance issues that we hope to resolve.
Okay. Mr. Grady? Comments?
No, it's Chris is get it.
Okay. Glenn Pratt, who's the present chair of this committee, he was fine with this. Is Chief Quigley online?
Chief Quigley is here.
Okay.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Yep. Good
Hi.
evening, Chief.
Hi there. I know. I think this is a great charge, and that was a good catch by Chris because that'll include the compliance issues we deal with the state health officials with the cell and detention area.
Okay. All right. And do you foresee?
I'm sorry. Oh, as a heads
No,
up, we've been written up by the state for the 10th year in a row. They were just in it last month and expressed their displeasure.
Were you able to share with them at least, you know, that we're looking to correct this?
That's what I told them 18 months ago, but they're becoming
Oh, okay.
impatient. So I get out the hat and top cane and did my best, but we'll get through this. Thank you.
Okay, and just, I'll just be redundant and say that as a charged committee, meetings need to be posted, minutes need to be taken and posted, and approved by the group and then posted. And everyone is on board with that. You need to have a quorum. I know there's quite a large group. It's my understanding, sometimes people come and people go. But it is a responsibility if they're going to be on the committee. I think there's 5 citizens at large or something like that.
I think it's 11 or 12 in total. Everybody,
Okay.
some are ex officio, including myself. But we have Betsy now. Betsy's my admin and John's admin, and she's
Okay.
wonderful. And obviously, she worked for the board before, so she's very
Okay.
familiar with all these process.
Okay.
Should the charge say something about how many members are on the board, on the committee, like we do for roads and sidewalks?
We can,
No, you don't think so?
No.
okay.
Okay.
I mean, some do, like when we get to the town manager search,
Mhm.
that provision in the town manager act is very specific
Okay,
on the numbers. And then other committees are like bylaw committees, like the select board advisory,
yeah,
all of that.
okay.
Okay, all right, so, Mr. Ashton, I might call on you, you're part of this group. Do you feel comfortable with moving this to a fully charged committee?
Yeah, sounds great to me.
Okay, all right, okay, so with that one change, can I have a motion to approve the formation of the Town of Cohasset Public Safety Facilities Committee?
So moved.
I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Hi.
Aye. Okay, start posting your meetings.
We'll do. We are rule followers.
Yeah, oh, good. I love rule followers. Okay, yeah, so we will just have to make sure the town clerk has a link on your homepage to take you to the agenda and minutes page, like all the other boards and committees have.
Absolutely. And Kevin's been helping out as well, so we're in good hands.
Okay, anything else you want to add while we have you here?
No, I'm good. I'll be back though. I'm not leaving yet.
Okay, oh, that's right, you'll be back. All right, thank you. All right,
Thanks.
so next up is an appointment for Gabriella Sestito as an election worker. So I assume we need election workers. I appreciate it. I believe Gabriella is a younger person. Well, everyone's younger to me, but is this Lily's daughter, right? Yeah, Bella. Yeah, okay. Any comments or questions?
Great.
Is Ms. Sestito online? No, okay. Can I have a motion to approve Gabriella Sestito as an election worker?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, great. Thank you, Gabriella, for volunteering. Okay, next up is the town manager search discussion. So, as you guys are aware, we voted at our last meeting to approve MRI as our search firm, which to hire a town manager. Per our Town Manager Act, we have to have a search committee of 7 to 9 people. I had a conversation with Bob Mercier on the 15th, whatever day of the week that was last week. And so officially, we're putting it out there to the public that we'll be looking for people to volunteer to be on the search committee. We'd like 7 members. We'd like people from all walks of life, people representing our empty nesters, people representing our parents, people who may have been on previous municipal boards and have some experience and exposure to the town manager function in town, people who might have HR backgrounds or operational backgrounds or financial backgrounds. So we're looking for a very well-rounded group of people. And we would like you to, if you're interested, we'd like you to email to Erin Allard, who is our administrative assistant. She is EALLARD@cohassetma.gov. Just an email with your interest, and you can attach a resume or write a few paragraphs about yourself. And we will review the applicants Kevin, maybe put it out in the town manager update at the end of the week, and we'll put it online on Facebook 143. You need to be able to commit to meeting. The firm indicated there'll be 5 to 6 meetings. These meetings will be posted meetings. You'll need minutes to be taken. They can be held via Zoom, which is acceptable if that works out for everyone's schedule. With 7 members, you need to have 5 for the quorum. So you need to commit to it. It'll be a short-lived process, should only take a month or 2. You'll elect a chair, a vice chair, and a clerk. And it will be a process. You'll work directly with MRI. They will be providing the applicants. They're beginning to advertise for the job opening. We just want to get a vote on that, make sure that they can go ahead. And so that's basically where we are in the search. Would like to get this going as quickly as possible. So today is the 20th. If we could have applications in by, say, 27, 29, 31, January 31, Friday, January 31, that would be great. I don't know what we do. I'll have to find out what we do if we don't get 7 applicants.
Oh,
So we'll find out from council. Does anyone have any questions on this?
no.
No? Mr. Plex?
Nope.
Mr. Grady?
Are we gonna have people from existing committees on there as well? Liaisons, or is this, I mean, select board works hand in glove with the town manager. To me, I think that would be something to think about, and the other boards work as well with the town manager.
I can ask him. I didn't ask him that question specifically. I don't know if because the select board is the final appointing authority, that it would disproportionately skew the committee one way or another. I don't know.
I would think in a liaison point is maybe even public safety, I mean,
What about capital budget?
as well.
Well, I don't think you can have the direct reports of the person being on the search.
All right, I understand that.
Well, let me find out from Bob, and I'll get back to you about existing committee members.
Bob,
He did-
Bob's the guy we met with last week.
Yeah, Bob and Buzz. Yeah,
The only thing I'd say to that is Bob and Buzz are working for the town.
true. I just would like his opinion on it. I'm not asking his permission, just like his opinion. I mean, what does everybody think?
Will we have someone from this?
That's what Paul is asking. If someone from the select board, perhaps someone from advisory, someone from capital.
I think it's to us to set the parameters. That's just my
It
thought.
doesn't say anything in the Town Manager Act.
It just says citizens of Cohasset.
Oh,
He did recommend against anyone who would be reporting to the town manager from being on the screening committee, which I can understand. that.
reporting to.
Yeah.
right, and we don't report to him, so.
No,
Ultimately, the hiring decision is the select board's,
correct,
right?
correct. So say they screen through 10 or 11 applications and they vet them, and it's all in executive session. They will present a slate of finalists between 3 and 5 to the select board to interview in public and to make a selection from.
I don't think there's an issue with select board participation in the review process, but that would kind of make 2 select board gates. So if we already vote on the final 3 to 5, I don't see that there's a need for the select board to be involved in the review process. But I agree with Mr. Grady's point that some expectation setting up front is probably useful. But I'm indifferent on that middle stage of working through the process with the committee, whether that needs to be
Yeah.
a select board member.
Okay.
I don't think it's a problem. I also don't think it's a need.
Yeah, what I did discuss with Bob also was, like, how do you screen through? So if we go back to what happened in Marshfield last month, they got through the whole process. 2 candidates were put forth by the screening committee to the select board, and the select board didn't choose either one of them. And one of which was because, one applicant didn't meet the criteria of the leadership profile, and the screening committee chose to ignore the leadership profile. So Bob and I did discuss at length developing a leadership profile, talking to stakeholders, talking to people in town hall. What is it you look for in a town manager? Talking to citizens, going to, coming down to elder affairs, talking to the chiefs, talking to constituents, having a forum one night to get feedback and serve, to fill, start to develop the leadership profile. The applicant one of the applicants in Marshfield was all about, he came from a very large city, and he was about building and growth and density and housing, and that's how you raise revenue in Marshfield. And they're like, no, we don't want to do that at Marshfield. And it was not in keeping with the leadership profile. So that's why it's important to find out from the stakeholders, what is it that you value? What's important? So, that would be the tool that the screening committee would use to go through the candidates. So, I'm agnostic on whether we have existing board members participate or not. I did write, he did say people with previous municipal experience on boards and committees would be helpful because they understand. So
I don't have a strong opinion about it.
yeah, so Paul, if you would like to do it, I'm
I
okay.
would, if it wasn't me, but I just think that not just board, but I think that people that have worked with the town manager, that know, what we have done in the past and what we're trying to do now, are key in having that, because and knowing the town manager, I think it's very much an instinctual thing. You could pick, a CEO of Lego Corporation because they cross all the T's and dot all the I's, but do they know Cohasset? Like you just said about the person in Marshfield wants to build. I think it's someone who should know the town manager, what Cohasset needs in a town manager. That's where I'm.
Okay.
That's where I go with that.
Well, so, obviously they have to be Cohasset residents, and we'll see who we get, and anyone and everyone is welcome to write a letter of application. I agree with you. You don't want someone who just moved in 2 months ago thinking they know it all, about the town. So we'll also have meetings with Bob about our individual and collective scope on the leadership profile.
And what about groups like advisory or capital or the other groups? Would we want to have someone from those? I guess we have to wait to see if they're interested. Someone would have to come forward and put their name in.
Right. The Town Manager Act only specifies 7 to 9 people who are residents of Cohasset.
Yeah.
There's nothing further, in terms of the scope of the search committee
Or restrictions.
or restrictions.
So maybe we see who we get.
Is the
Paul.
select board is going to vet the candidates?
We're going to pick the search committee.
I'm comfortable with that.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So, everybody just talk it up to your groups, to the people that you talk to. We'll get it out. And again, send your letter of interest to serve on the search committee to Erin Allard, EALLARD at cohassetma.gov. Just an email with your interest, and a little bit about your background in Cohasset. Okay. And I believe he's going to start advertising at MMA this weekend. So they go out to it's MMA in Massachusetts, but all the other New England states have their own version of MMA. So they're going to advertise there as well as ICMA.
Great.
Okay. All right, the LAU agreement for One Pleasant Street. Discussion vote. So Michelle, can you take us through this?
One Pleasant Street.
Yes,
I think Cassandra's on the line. Can you talk about this?
okay. She joining?
Yes, there you go.
Good evening.
Hi, Cassandra.
Hi.
Hi.
So the LAU for One Pleasant Street, some of the board members may have seen this before. The developer previously came to the town to have these units be ownership, and you signed the LAU to be sent off to the state for that. However, that has changed and they are now going to be rental units, so the paperwork needs to be redone and sent to the state. If we are going to move forward with sending this to the state for approval eventually, this is one step in a longer process to get all 14 units on the town's subsidized housing inventory.
I'm remembering this from 2 years ago when we were talking about One Pleasant Street. So I would assume the owner wants to do this because the selling market is not so strong for those units.
I'm not sure their exact reasoning, but
Okay.
that could certainly be one of them.
Okay. Is there any downside to the town?
This actually benefits the town more.
Okay. Anyone have any questions?
Building's for sale, isn't it?
I
Or
have
or has someone
heard
bought it? I heard that, heard a couple things. I heard
the
building was for sale.
the LLC that owns it has had a change in management, and I think that they are looking into selling the property. But I don't know that for certain.
Well, they had a real estate sign on it before, not too long ago. That's why I asked.
I thought it was for the units.
No,
That's what I thought too.
no. Building. in its
Okay.
entirety.
How would that impact this? Would this impact this decision at all if it's sold?
The units would still, the paperwork would still go to the state and the units would still count. It would just be under different ownership eventually.
So Cassandra, how binding is this if ownership changes? Could the new owners flip it back in the other direction?
Not without going through the whole special permit process again, because it's a part of the planning board special permit.
Okay, any more questions?
No.
No? Okay, so Cassandra, you need a vote from us, correct?
To sign the
Okay.
LAU. Mhm.
And yep, I have it here for signature. Okay, so can I have a motion to sign the local action unit LAU application for 4 rental units at 1 Pleasant Street, Cohasset, Massachusetts?
So moved.
I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is that sufficient?
Mhm.
Okay, great. And just my signature?
Just yours.
Okay. Great, thank you, Cassandra.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so next up on our agenda is the intermunicipal agreement community forum discussion. Okay. So Mr. Davis, who is here in the audience, had requested at one of our previous meetings in public comment for the select board to host a community forum to discuss the intermunicipal agreement with the town of Situate regarding Cohasset Harbor. So I said I would put it on our agenda and we would have a board discussion. So I will open it up to the board.
Well, does Mr. Davis want to speak?
We can ask Mr. Davis if he wants to speak,
Would you like me to speak?
if you would like to.
Okay. First, let me say that
Just please, sorry for the record.
Tim Davis, address 257 Atlantic Avenue, Cohasset.
Thank you.
First, let me say that the reason for this request is in no way to find fault or to criticize anything that you've done. I'm reasonably sure that you all operated in the best, in what you thought to be the best interest of the community. However, I believe I am speaking on behalf of the following organizations and people who have a direct interest in Cohasset Harbor water sheet or are owners abutting the oyster farms. I will name them: Cohasset Sailing Club, Cohasset Yacht Club, Cohasset Harbor Committee, Cohasset Harbor Master, Cohasset Sewer Commission, Cohasset Conservation Trust, Friends of Bassing Beach, private owners that have that abut the property, and countless numbers of children and adults who have used that area for education and recreation for years. And what we would like to do is to understand from you all how we got to this point, how and why you signed this agreement, which in my personal opinion is a travesty for the community. It has the possibility, and it seems to be moving in that direction, to take all of the area in Cohasset Harbor that is used by the Sailing Club and the Cohasset Yacht Club for their junior sailing program, which would, according to a previous Commodore of the Sailing Club, will put that Sailing Club out of business. I have been talking to the Yacht Club. They are very concerned about where this is going. So what I would like to do is have this forum. We will get as many people who are interested parties here to listen and learn why and how you came to this decision. We would also then like to pursue any avenues that are possible to end this agreement and to bring that area back under the control of the Cohasset community. Thank you. Happy to answer any questions.
So I just want to clarify, Mr. Davis, you said you believe you were speaking for all
Yes.
those organizations?
I'm not authorized to speak on any organization other than Friends of Bassing Beach, but I've talked to them all, and I believe I am speaking on their behalf.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. Okay. I'll open it up to the board.
Let's say this, I'm perfectly happy to have a forum. I'd say that right now, full transparency, I'd sit down, with anybody who wants to come in. I look at what occurred, what transpired, and working with Situate to come up, agreements out there. It's limited at the most to 6 acres. I think there's been a lot of blowing things out of proportion. Disappointed in that. Felt that the town would be pretty happy with this arrangement. Because I would say this. So this is why I'm saying for this board member, he's happy to have a forum and lay it right on the line.
Okay.
Because what happens with that agreement, Mr. Davis, and that goes away, we go right back to where we started with the moorings could get pulled. They get taken away. Now, I'm going to ask you, are you speaking for the people that have craft on that side of the harbor? Are you speaking for them?
I have
Because
one.
You on that side?
Yes.
So what's going to happen if that, I'm just going to say, we'll bring it up in a forum.
Okay.
But what I will say is, if that goes, we go right back into something that's just was an unpleasant situation that was started for all the wrong reasons, lawsuits and things like that. And so a little bit, it's a disappointing that what we limited to 6 acres at the most. That's renewable. Yes, it is. And I think that's what's going on out there is things are getting blown out. The words being spread of things. There's probabilities that are not even possibilities in this agreement being put out there. All right. And there's been a lot of mistruths put out there. I will say that again. So I'm for this board member, I am happy to have a forum and address any issues you and the number of people that well, you're not authorized to, but you feel comfortable speaking for. I'd like to see them here at that
Yes.
forum as well.
Thank you, Mr. Grady. Let me also just add that I think you are either misinformed or uninformed about what the situation is out there. First of all, each of these organizations that I listed was never consulted, to my knowledge, as you were negotiating this agreement. Never. Even the harbor master was kept out of it, and it's her responsibility to provide public safety for that area. 5 years ago, the Situate chair of the Situate Shellfish Advisory Committee called me along with Jamie Davenport, who is the lead oysterman. I was chair of the harbor committee at the time. They asked me if I would be okay if they put a small oyster farm in Briggs Harbor. And I said, sure, as long as it's not interfering with navigation or is on private property. Within a week or maybe two, they published what their real interest is, which is 32 acres of oyster farm in Cohasset Harbor. And right now, because of Friends of Bassings Beach litigation, they could not put it on private property. They wanted to put it on private property above the mean low water. We prevented that from happening. Now, we are going to do some more research out there. I think they are still on private property. And I can assure you we will litigate, because that is, I'll tell you with this, they have lied to me many times. Right now, there is a member of CSCR that is telling the public that the oyster farm doesn't bother anybody. It's just a little farm in Briggs Harbor. This is as recent as 3 weeks ago. So the information you're getting, Mr. Grady, I believe is not accurate. And I'm happy to bring that.
David, wait a
Okay.
second, back it up a second.
Yeah.
I'm not disputing anything that's going on. all right?
Okay.
And no misinformation that I'm receiving personally. I don't have people banging on my door telling me things about the harbor. What we tried to do as a select board, and I'm speaking up for myself as part of that, is to protect the harbor and to limit, all right, to limit any activities. No one was for it. That was out there. Mental health, and we did speak about that. And the town did step up. But what I'm saying is, to put it aside is what we tried to do is to protect the harbor and the citizens of Cohasset and the people who have the boats on that side of the harbor.
Well,
That's what I'm saying. I'm not offering up any
Okay, so
I'm not spreading it.
We're here to discuss whether or not we want to have a forum or not. We're not here to discuss the merits of the information that's out there or not out there. So, Mr. Davis, thank you for your comments. I'd like to open it up to the rest of the board for the conversation about having a forum or not having a forum, because that's what this agenda item is. It's not to discuss the merits of the agreement or any perceived or impressions of what's out there or not. So I know Mr. Plex had something he wanted to say.
Sure, and I'll do my best to be brief. I agree with you. Nobody wanted, I shouldn't say nobody, most of the people in Cohasset, the vast majority didn't want the oyster farm. I think all the people on the board were in that same position. We were in a position, however, where we weren't sure if we would be able to get the oyster farm blocked and get control of the moorings again. So as you can see in the intermunicipal agreement, we have the moorings back and we gave something on the oyster farm. That's not what we wanted. That was a negotiated outcome, a middle ground that I understand your position that we could have done better. There is going to be an opportunity to revisit the agreement. I can't remember exactly what the term is, but
5 years.
at the 5-year point, there will be an opportunity to decide if we're going to renew the agreement. I don't like the idea of breaking agreements that have already been made. I'm open to the discussion. I'm open to the forum. I'm concerned that it's not the right time, in particular because we have so many other things coming up with some urgency. And I just made a short list here. We've got the MSBA opportunity. We've got police and fire, which is a big issue. And we've also got to think about the budget in Cohasset. A lot of people have been taking a very close look at the budget and how the town spends money. We have to address those issues. So those are the kinds of things that I think bring more urgency. And I agree with you that the oyster farm is something we don't want, and it's something that we should reconsider. I'd argue we should do that when we get to the point in the agreement when it's up for renewal.
Well, I would respectfully disagree. First of all, either side can terminate that agreement with notice and negotiation. So that's any time. It's not a 5-year agreement. It's whenever somebody wants to get out of it. Secondly, Mr. Grady mentioned the moorings. There is a way to deal with that, which I'm working on. I will not divulge what it is at this point, but we're working on that as well. So I think there's a way to do it. The only thing I would ask, if you're not going to support it, just please stay out of the way. That's all I ask. A previous select board did support what we were doing when we did the bylaw. They signed a letter to the Attorney General supporting it. And then for one reason or another, you all backed away from that and gave up your support. And it is, yeah, you can imagine it's frustrating for me just as a private citizen, has no interest in that area of Cohasset Harbor at all, but I'm seeing the thousands of people that are being injured by that. And by injured, I could mean physically injured. They've had little opties that capsize up there and drift into the oyster farm. Do you want to see them hung up in that oyster farm when the wind is blowing and the waves are going? What are you going to do with those kids? And I'll tell you another story, why I'm so upset with Scituate. There was a meeting with the select board 5 years ago. And I raised the question of what are we going to do with the junior sailors that are over there and they capsize into the oyster farm. One of the oyster farmers sitting next to me said, well, oysters got to eat too. Now that's why I am really upset by where this is going. So I'll stop with that. I ask you please to have a public forum sponsored by the select board. If not, I will find another way.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Rollins?
I am in support of having a public forum. But it depends on what the forum is for. If it is to educate the public, as you mentioned, about how the agreement came to be, and only for that purpose, then I support it because it wouldn't be in violation of the agreement we have with Scituate. So I'd be in support of that. But if it's anything beyond that in terms of coming up with a plan for how to cancel out of the agreement or leading to that, then I would have to not support that. I also just want to point out that I joined in May. So I was not part of the 5-year process that this has been going through. So I don't have a lot to contribute to the conversation, but I would be in support. I'm always in support of transparency. So
Thank you.
I would support that.
Thank you. I think that's the main reason, is to let the rest of the community know there's so much misinformation and bad information that's floating around, as Mr. Grady points out, so that if we could get all together and have correct factual information of what's going on there, that would be a help to the community. And then the community can decide.
That I'm in support of.
The community deciding?
No,
Oh,
no, for transparency is.
yeah, yeah, I mean,
The
in all
community
honesty,
Deciding what?
yeah, deciding,
But
The community deciding what?
you just said,
Well, they-
then the community will decide. Well,
well,
what will they decide?
they could decide either they don't want to have anything to do with it, or they want to join with the actions of Friends of Bassing's Beach, or they wanted they can decide what they
Well,
want to do. Maybe they're
But
just not
that,
interested.
but that makes me a little uncomfortable
uncomfortable.
because then we, the select board, are sponsoring.
An event for
An
FOG.
event.
and-
I'm not going to ask anybody to join Friends of Baskins Beach or do anything else. All I'm asking for is to put the information out there, be transparent. This agreement was negotiated over years with absolutely no consultation of the people that are using that daily in the summertime. And you took it away without consulting them. That's the thing that's so upsetting. Nobody was consulted. And in fact, the harbor master was ordered not to talk to me about it. So that's where things
Okay,
get pretty bad. And I can tell you the sewer commission is really upset too, because they were never consulted
Yep.
about it.
okay, so let's get back to the form. I mean, obviously, when you're in negotiations, you don't consult everybody. It's just impossible because it breaches the negotiation, you know.
Ellen, I'm well
abilities.
aware of the law.
Okay, well, you just said nobody was consulted.
Nobody was consulted.
So,
Were you?
Oh,
did you-
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
all right, Mr. Davis. So we're going to have a conversation here on the board about a forum. I'm surprised that at this point in January of 2026, we're discussing this when the agreement was signed in June of last year and made public, quite publicly. We announced it, we posted it, we discussed it, and it has only come to light since last fall that there's angst and upset. So we will discuss it. Mr. Plex.
Imagine that this conversation were happening in Situate. So we sign an agreement in good faith.
Mhm.
We have the things that we agreed to
Mhm.
in signing that document.
Mhm.
Situate has things that they agreed to in signing that document.
Mhm.
I worry that hosting this forum as the select board
Yeah.
presents us as looking for ways out of the agreement. And I am not looking for ways out of the agreement. So I don't want to send that message to Situate. I would be very concerned if Situate were sending that message to Cohasset.
Agreed.
It's an agreement, it's a contract, we signed it in good faith. I think we have to live up to it. I hear what you're saying, that it's breakable inside of 5 years. That was not the intent. So I intend to hold up our end of that document for the 5 years as agreed.
So you want to keep everything away from the community that happened and why you got there.
No. One more thing to say on that. I'm in favor of reform. As I said, I'm in favor of it in full transparency. That means including Situate. They're part of the agreement, a big part of the agreement. I wouldn't keep Situate away from it. I would explain the facts. I would open the doors. Matter of fact, I'd welcome them because they 50% part of the agreement to work with us, and it's not.
They got more than 50%.
Again, that's not something really to bear into, but if there was to be a forum, again, that forum should be held in full transparency.
Mhm.
Because, I won't get into it, but I personally believe we made a good agreement, but that's, and again, and the board was in favor
Mhm.
of no oysters in the harbor. But you reach an impassable situation, but I'm not averse to sharing it, and I'm sure, but I want Situate to be just as included. I will say that, their board with them.
Yeah, I think it would have to be a
Everybody else.
jointly
I would do
sponsored.
that, and I would.
Yeah.
Actually, if I could put out maybe a jointly sponsored event, and that way we are both agreeing to have an open discussion about it, and maybe it happens in Cohasset, maybe it happens in Situate. I don't feel comfortable with it only being a
No.
Cohasset Select Board sponsored event, because I'm unclear on what the main or what the primary outcome would be. And I don't know, I understand transparency is important and it's good to know how the select board got there. But if you want to figure out how to move forward, I don't think we should look back and figure out how the agreement came to be, because the agreement stands. It is the way it is for the next 5 years. Maybe FOB could have a forum, a public forum, and invite people to come and talk about whatever you think would be most productive to talk about moving forward now that the agreement is in place, because the agreement's in place. We're not talking about changing it.
No.
So maybe FOB could have a forum to talk about.
We'd like to know what it is we're dealing with. How did you get there?
Well, all the minutes have been approved and released for all those,
Ellen?
Mr. Davis. Those were the official minutes. We all voted on them and we voted to release them.
No, you did. And I told you what I thought about those minutes. There's nothing in it that is meaningful on the negotiation. And I understand executive session. I understand all of that, Ellen. But the community does not know what went on and why you came to this agreement. And that's all we're doing. And then if Friends of Passy Beach wants to have a further forum, I'm happy to do that.
I
To
think-
figure out where we're going to go.
I find it interesting that in all of this time, other than one phone call I received from the chair of the sewer commission after you had a conversation with him at a meeting or perhaps not, I've not received a single call, email, stop in the grocery store or at the RTF from anyone, not one person in this town, asking me, why did you guys do this? Why did you do it? I have received thank you so much. Thank you for saving us the legal fees of what prolonged litigation would cost. Thank you. We have our moorings back. I'm not paying 2 fees for the mooring. I have not heard from anyone but you, Mr. Davis. I don't know if any one of my
You've never gotten
colleagues-
anything from the sailing club?
You forwarded to me an email from the Commodore who said that right now everything's okay.
Mhm.
Okay? Right now everything's okay.
With 2 acres out there. That's what they've been operating, 2 to 3
Yeah,
acres.
yeah.
And now they're gonna go to 6. And
Oh,
that,
they have 4 and they'll go to 6.
okay.
That's pending
what the
approval
agreement
by
said.
DMF as well,
Pardon me?
Tim, that's pending approval by DMF.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so.
And it's certainly
So the-
pending
so the
approval of
agreement-
the,
what I'm gonna say is the agreement is out there, it's transparent, it's put out there.
I know what
It's
it
done in
says.
Good faith, all right, so again, that's where I encourage, where I'll differ maybe, I don't know if I'm differing with any of you guys, is, I agree with you, Chris, but it's something that in transparency, that the select board, I think, in conjunction with Situate, because at least the board is allowed, or boards, I should say, allowed to get out their narrative as to what happened. I'm just saying if Bob's gonna hold a separate forum, the narrative is gonna go in a different direction because you have a different point of view, understandable. That's where I would go with that, that it should be not a controlled environment, but one that explains how we got to where we got to a degree on that, but in conjunction with both. I think that we should not leave Situate out of the dark. I think you'd agree with me.
Sure, that's fine.
And,
Bring 'em on.
and that it's not turned into something that's, a stone throwing event. But I favor a forum, but I would think that full transparency with Situate in a conjunction because, the agreement stands, and at this point in time, this member doesn't want it to go away because it's as tight as we could get.
Kevin, do we have any comments? No. I'd just like to say if there are people who are watching or listening that have a perspective on this, please feel free to email us. All of our emails are on the website. We certainly have one very passionate perspective on the situation in Cohasset Harbor, and I would welcome more. Like I said, we haven't heard from anybody except for people just saying, thanks for getting this done.
I haven't heard from anybody either. You were
No.
asking if we'd heard from.
Yeah,
other
from,
people. I
yeah.
haven't, no.
but,
My overwhelming hit is people are happy it's over.
yeah,
The uncertainty's gone. At least for now.
They're happy with the moorings. The
They're
mooring
happy, no,
situation.
but they're happy that they're with me. That the uncertainty is gone.
Yeah.
That doesn't, no, we don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I
Thank you. Because that's what I've heard. And again,
Yeah.
I don't claim to have 1,000 people rushing up to me, but I'm just saying that I've heard no word and also positive words. I'm just giving, that's just coming out, say, a brief forum comment.
Okay,
okay. All right, thank you very much.
thank you.
So, in addition to our, ever increasing busy schedule of meetings that'll be coming up, and the important things, as Mr. Plex indicated, with budget, with the public safety buildings and the work that is, going to be before the newly charged committee and therefore before us. We'll have to find a spot in the schedule. I will reach out to the chair of Situate if the board agrees to talk about this conversation. Does the board agree?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm good with you reaching out to them and seeing if there's any appetite
Okay.
for it. And
I just hope it doesn't open Pandora's box because we're in a nice quiet period on this right now.
Well,
And
hopefully by reaching out, that's gonna keep the box closed,
yes,
at
Yep.
least that.
yep. So, we'll see.
That's all.
And if people out there, oh, I already said that, sorry,
Yeah.
forgive me. All right, so we will continue this conversation. Can I get a sense of the board without a formal vote? Mr. Grady's in favor of a forum with Situate, Mr. Plex is.
I am opposed because I think it's inconsistent with the fact that we signed the agreement.
I agree with you.
I think it's an invitation for people to say, you shouldn't have done this, let's break the agreement.
Yeah,
It's a negotiated outcome. It's not perfect.
yeah. And the fact of consulting people, I mean, it's not common form when you're negotiating to go out and consult.
I'm not retracting. I'm in favor only if it's in conjunction and full transparency with the town of Situate.
Situate, yeah.
That's where I'm going with it. I do not want to break the agreement. I'm in favor of the agreement. Worked hard to get it. And so I don't want to be seen as doing anything underhanded that would cause them
Yep.
pause, because they just have to look at this meeting and they have to just look at this, what we just went through and what we discussed, and think that something's, there's something moving on behind the scenes.
I respect your opinion. I appreciate your opinion. I'm worried it turns into the capacity people saying, get rid of the oyster farm, keep the moorings. And then the Situate contingent says, wait a second, that's ours. Why did we give away the moorings? And we should have access to the oyster farm. Yeah, let's kill this agreement. And then the whole thing blows up and we're back where we were 2 years
But
ago.
we're still got a stew right now. To me, right now, there's a stew cooking. All right, and it's being, we're not cooking it.
We have a fragile piece.
How about, sorry to interrupt,
Please.
how about we leave it up to our community and say, if we hear from a certain number of people in the next several days that they're interested in a public forum with Situate, then we will consider it. But I don't know that, I know we have someone who's very passionate about it and I respect him a great deal, but I don't want to be inefficient with everybody's time and their commitments and take away time from family and take away time ultimately from our budget to have a public forum if our community at large is not interested in it.
Well,
I'm picturing, it's like one of our other community forums where we have a community forum and guess
3
how many
people.
people show up?
no,
Less than 10. And that is, I think that's a problem.
but
And
that in a sense puts paid to it, but.
How about we
Every
see how many
community
people we
forum
hear from in the
reduces
next week?
number of people you're gonna get engaged for the next issue. That's my humble opinion, because people have families, people have jobs, people have other things they need to do with their time. So if we're asking the community for their time engaging on issues, police and fire, budget, MSBA.
For sure. For sure.
And then I think people are cooked.
What about you, the chair gauge the interest from the town of
Yeah,
Situate?
I'll
All right, why don't we
I'll
do
talk to
that?
the chair
At
tomorrow.
least, so at least
Yeah.
there's your transparency. All I want is transparency. And if we had a forum of one, I'd go out of here thrilled. All right, to be
Okay.
honest with you,
Okay.
because there's your forum of one right there. And
Okay.
so I hope, that's my hope. And also Stack Deck, I mean, but if you reach out to Situate, and Situate doesn't have that, I'm fine. I want to keep the agreement, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
It's a good agreement
It's a good agreement.
and I stand by it.
Yep.
And I just don't want Situate thinking that we're trying to backdoor and trying to violate it. That's my worry right off the bat with this. These are public meetings.
That's a
Someone sees it.
Very real concern.
So,
I know.
That's why we have to be very careful.
I want them to know publicly, if they're watching, that we support them as well, because we worked with them to get this agreement.
Yep, I will speak with Chair Goodrich tomorrow. I will put a call in. I know that they are meeting tonight. And I do, to Mr. Pleck's point about forums, we just had 4 forums for public safety. I went to one of them and 1 resident attended. How well attended were the other ones? Did we get 10 or 12 residents in total across the 4 forums?
I think it was about 12.
About 12? So we averaged 3.
Wow.
So,
Let's hear from people. If you
Right.
want a public forum, email us.
email us.
I haven't
absolutely.
received one email about it.
No,
No, I've not seen it
No,
in the harbor.
email.
That's what we all.
Our
see.
emails are on the website.
Davis, but I'm just
I
saying.
haven't received
at
emails
least
about
let's-
anything.
The chair, let's Situate know.
I will.
That there's,
Oh. Okay, so we will percolate on this and if we get some feedback, I'll reach out to Situate tomorrow. Okay, next up is the MBTA bus stop discussion vote. So Michelle,
So we were. So we were approached by the MBTA last week. They are looking into a new project, which they call the Bus Stop Safety and Accessibility Project. Currently, the town of Cohasset has one flag stop. And you can see that, right there. So it's northbound is the Cohasset flag stop. What they're trying to do as part of this project is to convert all the flag stops to fixed stops. This is the only bus stop in Cohasset. As you see on the northbound side, it's in Cohasset. On the southbound side, it is in Hingham. As part of their project, they're looking just to put a sign up on the sidewalk and make it a fixed stop versus a flag stop. It is going to run the normal route, which goes down Rockland Street. It doesn't even come down Hull Street. The only modification to their plan is come April, they're launching a pilot program, which the bus currently runs every hour on the hour. It's going to run every 30 minutes, and that's just a pilot program. They're looking for a vote from the town of Cohasset to make this a fixed stop versus a flag stop. In full disclosure and transparency, we've had some opposition by the community to make this a fixed stop because the fear of some things that come along with having a bus stop in the town of Cohasset, whereas having the commuter rail in the town of Cohasset opened us up to the MBTA Communities Act. So there is a little opposition out there.
How much? How many people?
A half a dozen.
Half a dozen. Okay.
Do we know anything about ridership?
They couldn't give me ridership numbers. Typically the ridership all comes from the Hull Ferry or the depot, Hingham Depot.
Oh,
So that's where the bus connects. It goes from the Hull Ferry through West Corner, down Rockland Street, and connects at the Hingham Depot.
so this is between those 2 points, and that's where people typically get in.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
So this wouldn't be making any changes other than to make it easier for someone who lived in Cohasset to get off the bus there
It simply makes.
or get on the bus
It
there.
simply just makes it a fixed stop. So they're not flagging the bus down. They know that this is where they stand if they want to catch the bus.
I
Or
don't.
in
So-
this case, actually get off the bus.
Make it
Doesn't make
easier.
a change.
It doesn't even change.
Right.
Well,
Right.
it makes
'Cause-
it easier, meaning like they know they can stand there because there's no signage here. How would anyone even know they could flag a bus down here?
Right.
It's just a random place. Right? So it's just making it, it's making public transportation more accessible to people who may live in this area.
Do you mind if I ask what pushback is?
Yeah, what is the fear?
Yes.
Like what would
So
be? the
just as I
fear?
stated, the fear is that it's the unknown. By adding the commuter rail to the town of Cohasset, it opened us up to the MBTA Communities Act. So the fear is by adding an actual fixed bus stop, we could be in the future looking at additional unprecedented.
But this change on its own would not trigger what you're describing.
I don't have an answer for that because simply it's a flag stop to a fixed stop. It's still a stop. It's still in.
The bus is still gonna be going by no
The
matter
bus is
what.
Going by no matter what.
No matter what.
Stop.
Right.
It sounds like they just want to put a sign up.
They want to put a sign and they want, yes.
Yeah,
We're talking about one sign, the other one's in Hingham, so we're only voting about the one in Cohasset.
right. And I would encourage anyone who has concerns about this. I mean, we do have a representative to the MBTA, and it's Mr. Corey Evans, who also, he's not,
No longer.
I thought we just appointed him last summer.
I don't believe he's.
Then we have no one? Oh. Okay. Well, we need to have somebody. You sure we didn't? Because I thought we appointed him and Diane Kennedy to Maya at the same time. It was a reappointment. They showed up in 2024 for their first appointment, and then 2025, we said, no, we know you guys, so.
Or, so I originally sent this to Corey.
Yeah.
He indicated he does not sit on the commuter bus subcommittee. And generally, the advisory board is more high level on specific stops. But if we have any issue, he's happy to be the conduit.
Okay, so he's not on the subcommittee, but he's still the town of Cohasset
Yes.
representative to the MBTA at all, the whole thing. So he could direct someone to the right people for questions, right? All right, so
Could I make a suggestion then?
Yes,
There seem to be, what, two questions opening that we can have the answers to.
And I don't think we'll get those answers, because I think this is hypothetically,
Yeah.
if we do this, they could do that
At some.
at a
point in the
future date.
It's all right. Okay.
Like the MBTA commuter,
So there's nothing
that
that we're
came
missing.
a
then.
decade later than the actual commuter rail, or 2 decades.
yeah.
Not gonna run the rail down there, that's for sure.
No, and the zoning was just zoning, you know, for the MBTA Communities Act, whatever the heck that was. Okay. Are you guys okay voting on this tonight?
I'm fine with it.
Okay, so can I have a motion to approve the MBTA stop on Hull Street at Jerusalem and Hull Street at Rockland Street to become a hard stop? Which, southbound or northbound?
Northbound.
Northbound, Hull Street at Jerusalem Road. Picture on the left. Okay,
Mhm. For it to become a fixed,
a fixed
Stop.
stop, so the bus will go and stop regardless if someone is standing there or not. Right now, if someone's standing there and they wave, the bus will stop for them.
mhm.
So now the
So-
bus will just stop. So can I have a
Well,
motion?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do we want to give, before we do it, I mean, I'm not against it, but do we want to give people that are pushing back a chance to air their grievance? We know that the board gets hung up in the cross quite a few times when we,
Did they submit any
No, I
reasoning
mean-
that we could read here tonight
So I.
for us to
put it
consider?
on the agenda for
only
next
one.
meeting.
I
mean, I
believe
just-
the select board got a letter from one resident.
One resident.
Asking questions
Questions?
but I haven't seen anything. Making the argument that this would be a bad detriment to Cohasset.
I personally don't think it is.
And I think they'd have a hard time coming up with a reason that is appropriate.
They got hurt. If they even show up,
I,
again, that's just a.
I'm fine with delaying it and waiting to see again if we hear what we hear in the next week. I would be okay with delaying it.
It's a 2-minute vote. So if we give them the opportunity, because I'm for it. If people want to speak, I'll let them have their moment.
okay.
We've been through enough of that.
Okay, so I asked for a motion. I didn't get a motion, so we will table this conversation to the next meeting.
Michelle, can I ask one more question? Sorry. Did the citizen who complained know that this is on the agenda tonight
Yes.
and they didn't show up?
I don't know if they're online.
Anyone?
Okay. That's fair. All right, I'm comfortable with where we are.
One person has to talk.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, one person asking to speak?
Yeah. Mr. Target, Ken Target.
Okay.
Oh, great.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, I sent a couple emails on the subject. I don't think you guys read the one I sent this afternoon. I don't ask questions in it. I kind of gave information that I think would probably flesh out my objections. I grew up riding MBTA buses and trains. I love them. Okay. I don't have a problem with a bus stop, except that there's never been one in Cohasset for a lot of reasons. Same reasons why we don't have fast food outlets like McDonald's here. This has come up before, and town governance in the past has limited, not allowed either one into the town before. There's a difference between a flag stop and a bus stop, technically and legally. And a bus stop gives the MBTA far-reaching ability to take actions in the future, much like the ones we just talked about, or we just talked about in terms of the zoning law changes. Not a big impact in Cohasset, but a big impact in a lot of communities around here, not just ones who have commuter rails, but adjacent communities as well. So allowing a bus stop anywhere in Cohasset triggers the law of unintended consequences. Once you become an MBTA bus stop community, you can be told, mandated to put additional bus stops throughout the town. So if you would like to have me come in and talk about it at the next meeting, I'd be happy to do that. And we could talk about that and in terms of what might be likely going forward if we have a formal bus stop there. I am concerned about Cohasset residents who might use that flag stop, but I don't think you're going to find any. It is a tiny sliver of the border, and I don't think you will find anybody, any Cohasset resident that's ever used it as a flag stop. So there's really no benefit to the residents of the town where it's going to be located. Additionally, it can be shifted about 15 feet in either direction or in some directions and be in Hull. But there is a danger in allowing a MBTA bus stop in the town because, again, it triggers the law of unintended consequences, and you could be directed to have bus stops at other places. And if you read my email, whether you agree with it or not, I laid out some of the possibilities. So happy to come and talk. I apologize for not being there tonight. Couldn't make it, but I have been on Zoom. You have my sympathy in many ways for some of the other things you've had to talk about tonight. And I know it's going to be getting to be late, but if you'd like me to come in, I'm happy to do that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tarpey, very much for your thoughtful comments. Okay, so I didn't get a motion, so we will table this and we will get more. Can you or Michelle, I'm happy to reach out to Corey and ask him about what Pandora's box opens up if we have a hard stop on a bus route. I mean, we did have in this town years ago, the Plymouth and Brockton bus had a bus stop, ran right down from Greenbush and Situate, right down South Main Street, right through the center of town, and picked up, because I used to take it to Boston every day, right across from the community center. So we have had public transportation bus stops in Cohasset before. So that was 1984, 1985, when I was riding. It used to be called the Peanut Butter Bus. Do you remember it?
Goldie Hawn, Steve Martin, right there. Picked
Right
up the
there,
bus right at the
right
corner.
there.
House
I
it.
took the bus to South Station every day, and I walked to Downtown Crossing, and I walked back every day. So
Buffed into his arms and that. Yes.
Could we, I like the idea of reaching out to Corey. I also wonder if we should maybe speak formally to the MBTA about it and have something in writing from them that describes what kind of a commitment this means for the town.
We can ask them to come in
Yeah.
and present at the next meeting.
I would really like that. I'd rather hear from the authorities. Yeah, I'd like to hear it from the source. Thank you.
We'll invite them to the next.
And then I
meeting.
also obviously want something in writing before we do this that makes sure that we don't open Pandora's box like Mr. Tarpey suggested.
Sure.
Thank you.
okay. Okay, so next up, I believe Chief should be coming back on for us. He wrote us a memo, it's in our packet, about parking regulations and what's called ticket stacking. Hello, Chief, welcome back.
Hey there. So I did prepare a memo. I think all you folks have that.
Yeah.
We're constantly looking at the traffic regulations, which are promulgated by the select board, and we're asking for authorization to so-called ticket stack, which means we can issue multiple parking tickets in a one-day period. Right now, we can only issue one, but people are unfortunately taking advantage of that. So they look at it as a an all-day pass to park illegally. This would allow us to issue up to 3 citations within 24 hours, and hopefully deter some of this behavior. As you all know, we're sort of a victim of our success. If you drive through the village Thursday through Sunday, it is absolutely mobbed at night, and there's just no turnover in some of the parking spaces. And would like to curb that behavior, and I think this is a great mechanism to help with that.
So it's throughout the whole town.
Yes, all violations. We'd have this would allow us the ability on any type of violation to stack tickets every 2 hours, up to three tickets per day.
every 2 hours, up to 3 tickets per day. Okay, and what's our current fine?
Just
Depends on the violation. The
Okay.
base fine is $50. Sandy Beach is 100.
Okay.
Hydrants and handicapped at 250.
Okay, so if I were to park at Sandy Beach without the proper sticker for the day, I could get up to $300 in fines.
Correct.
Okay, understood.
that's a good deterrent.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Or anywhere in Cohasset where, parking is that thing that, we talked about making it one of our goals and looking at what we can do to improve parking. We've had a lot going on where we haven't been able to address it.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say it is the most pressing issue after public safety, after we get that ironed out is, what do we do? Does
Yeah,
anyone on the,
Well, I'm sorry. Oh, it really is a quality of life issue for people, using Government Island, the village in Sandy Beach. So we think this will really help. And just as a side note, in the background, I've been working with that parking vendor, and I have a loose group of residents that we're sort of going through these regulations, and we're going to probably be back to the select board in the coming month or two. With some possible proposals and looking to form a more formal group to tackle some of these issues that really haven't been dealt with since the early 90s. So we've changed fines and things like that, but I think we have to take a holistic look at the village itself. Again, if you drive through there on any weekend, it's really sort of it is packed, and it's every weekend. And we're dealing with things such as DoorDash and Uber Eats and things like that, and people just sort of leaving their cars everywhere. So I think we just have to update things. And again, I'll be back in the coming months, and we've engaged with the Chamber of Commerce and a few other people to really take a holistic look at this and try to solve the problem.
okay, great. And just so everyone knows, ticket stacking is not unique to Cohasset. There are other communities that do it.
Yeah, it's very Hull does it. I believe Situate does it. Boston clearly does it. Plymouth. It's not. This is really bringing us up to current standards, industry wide.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any questions from the board?
Appreciate the proactive solution, Chief.
Sure thing.
Okay, so you need a vote from the select board. So can I have a motion to approve Police Quigley's request to update the parking regulations and implement ticket stacking as defined in his memo?
So moved and gladly.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great, thank
Thank you,
you.
bud. Thanks.
Start stacking, chief.
Okay.
When do you anticipate this going into effect? Tonight?
Probably 2 weeks once we can get this filed with the town clerk and get it on the books. Again, it's a regulation, not a bylaw.
Right out tomorrow, chief.
Okay. We'll start hanging paper tomorrow.
Okay,
Okay. Thanks, guys.
great, thank you. Okay, Michelle, FY27 draft budget review.
Okay. So as far as the FY27 draft budget. So we have met with all the department heads on the town side to help develop this budget. We have met with the schools to get a cursory look of their first pass at their budget. We have, put in all of our expenses. We've loaded all of our, transfers from free cash into capital and OPEB, and we're making sure we're funding all of those things. We're also making sure that we're funding the mandatory costs, if you will, which is the shared budget. And those things are health insurance and dispatch center, South Shore VOTEC. So there's a bunch of shared items in the budget. In order to have a balanced budget, we're looking at a town budget of 16.5 million and a school budget of 24.9 million. That's for a balanced budget. However, I have to say, in order to have a level service funded budget, we need 6% over that number. Currently, right now, a 6% increase creates a deficit on the town side of about $1.1 million and on the school side of about $1.3 million. The deficits.
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
Which
the-
part?
The level services.
Yep, so in order to have level services for both the town and the school, we're looking at a 6% increase over both.
Yep,
Unfortunately, that creates a deficit.
okay,
And the deficit for the town side is approximately 1.1 million. And the schools, we're looking at a deficit of about 1.3 million.
okay, thank you.
The major impacts to the budget, of course, healthcare, we've talked about that several times. We're looking at a 14% increase over FY 26. And healthcare continues to be the fastest growing and largest cost center for the budget. The South Shore Regional Emergency Dispatch Center, the assessment increased by $100,000 this year, so that's a significant cost. Another major impact is new growth. So we're looking at a decline of about $670,000 over last year, reducing the available revenues for the budget. Some increases in our budget. South Shore VOTEC, I think we've talked about that before, but we're looking at a 38% increase for South Shore VOTEC, which is great. There's more students attending South Shore VOTEC. The salary line items overall that are impacting the budget are the salaries from the police department increase 19% over a 2-year period. And the fire department is a 15% increase over 2 years. The primary drivers of both of those departments is overtime. I think if we can, hire additional officers or firefighters, that overtime cost will come down. So in this case, we want to hire for those departments because it'll lessen our burden. There were some positions within the budget that just were never funded. And they just fell to the bottom year over year. So this year we're funding those positions. The way we're looking at this budget cycle is, this is our baseline budget. We're going to make sure everything's incorporated in this budget. So moving forward, we have a true picture of our revenues and expenses moving forward. So we budgeted the conservation agent. She was never budgeted before. So that's a large driver in the permits and inspections line item.
So never budgeted, but paid.
So at the end of the year, when we take all the revenues that were left over, and that's how she was paid.
Okay,
So how are we mitigating this? Right, so we've met with all department heads. We let everyone know we're transparent. This is our deficit. We need to make it up, and we need to work together to make it up. We're looking at a health insurance plan design change that will introduce a deductible to all health insurance plans. It's more challenging than people may think. There's unions involved. We're asking them to go to a deductible plan, not a high deductible plan, just introducing a deductible, which would be $250 for a single plan and $750 for a family plan. If the staff agrees with this change, we can save 5% on health insurance, which equates to over $400,000 annually. So that's a huge help right there. Departmental expense reductions. We asked each department head to go back and look at all of their expenses without cutting, necessary services in their budget, to take 5% out of all of their expenses. Obviously, there are some departments that are unable to do this because they're smaller in nature, but there's some departments that are larger, and we're saying, can you cut 5% in these expenses this year and reallocate them? What can we do? So they're looking at that. We've already received decreases from police, facilities, DPW. So everyone's looking and really trying to tighten their belt. If all of these things don't work, we're looking for voluntary staff hour reductions. We've already had some staff members come to us and say, hey, I'm willing to do it, And then, of course, the last resort is an overall reduction of hours for all staff. I don't know that we'll have to get there, but we had to outline a process so our staff wasn't panicked, because you want to make sure they're getting the right message. We're not having tremendous amount of layoffs. We're trying to do all of these things before we impact anyone's livelihood. The cherry sheet has not come out yet. Right now, we're planning for a 2% increase. The governor is set to drop the budget tomorrow. So we're hoping that, we see at least a 4% increase, and that will also help. So there's a lot of things that are unknown at this point in time. We're working with the schools weekly on the budget to see how we can massage it to make sure it's fair and equitable for both the town and the schools. And the schools are going to be discussing their budget tomorrow night. And we have them coming to the select board on February 10th, along with the town side, to present a joint budget. But we're collaborating every step of the way to make sure that, if the town's seeing a 6% increase, the schools see a 6% increase. So we just want to make sure it's fair across the board for everybody. But that's where we are at this present time.
Okay. Comments or questions from anyone?
Wow. Good work, Michelle. Excellent work. Thank you so much.
A very talented accountant.
Yeah, she's good.
That's
She's
great.
wonderful.
Yeah.
So
Fantastic.
thank you, Beth.
So,
Please thank them.
comments, Mr. Plex?
Thank you. Arm twisting is terrible work. Sounds like you've already started. We appreciate it. One question I had as you're running through the numbers, you mentioned that revenue was down 600,000 and change. Do you know what drove that?
That's new growth. So that's your building permits, all of your building in town.
So new growth was less than it has been in years past? Thank you.
Okay. And so the budget, what you're talking about are level services, not level funded, because level funded is level to last year. Level services is the same, just so everyone understands that. And so, so that the community understands, these are issues that have been going on around us for the last several months. And if you look at, Plymouth had a $1.1 million increase in health insurance. They have a hiring freeze. They're dipping into their excess levy capacity so that they're reducing their reserve fund tremendously as they go into FY27. And Plymouth is a big town. Abington doesn't even have their 2025 audit back yet, so that they don't even know where their certified free cash is. Their OT for police for this fiscal year 26 is exhausted already. They have staffing shortages. They will have to cut, without level funding, they'll have to cut 20 civilian staff, and they'll have no SROs for the schools. Situate is kind of where we are right now. They're walking the tightrope too on their budgets. They have a lot going on in terms of infrastructure build. Duxbury is kind of a mess. They don't even know what their enrollment is or what their FTE count is in the schools. They're looking for their second override in 2 years in a row, even though they've lost 700 students since 2008. 700 students since 2008 in Duxbury. That's Cohasset Middle High School.
Wow.
Yep, Halifax level funding means job cuts. They're looking at forming a townwide override committee. Rockland, no, that's their capital plan. Marshfield lost 20 positions in their schools through attrition in the last 2 years. They won't be getting those back. Whitman Hanson, as we know, had a $1.43 million deficit that came out in November, December last year for the current year. Kingston is looking for 4.8. But if they got 2.5% as per Proposition 2.5, they would have to cut teachers. So, I mean, it goes on and on. I can go on and on and on in every town. Everyone is struggling with this. Health insurance is the number one. And I'd like to publicly thank Katie Dugan and Linda Cole, who went to Norfolk County and negotiated the pension payout to extend it from, what was it, 2031 to like 2038 or 2039, so that our pension payouts are leveled out. Everyone in Plymouth County is now realizing that they have a 2032 or a 2031 fully funded mandate. And they're trying to scramble now because their pension expenses are going high. And they're now realizing we've got to get to Plymouth County on our pensions. So that was big. I think that was big for us. And I think what you're doing for health insurance is big. And we have to kind of, and I know it's all tied intricately into all of our contracts and all of our employees, but we have to figure out health insurance. It's a challenge.
So Linda Cole actually made some calls today to find out what's going on with some of the other groups, the Mayflower Plan, GIC. What's happening in the Maya world is not unique. It's happening everywhere. This is a great plan. I think the employees benefit tremendously from this plan. And I think adding a deductible to this would be the best for the employees. And I hope they see it that way as well. Because going to the GIC is going to be a completely different plan. And joining a new group, obviously we can't join in FY27, but we can join in FY28. They're seeing rising costs as well. So
Everywhere.
Yeah. So, well, keep us posted. So that meeting on the 10th will be schools and all the big departments. Okay, so that will be the only thing on the agenda. It's going to be a budget night.
yes.
Okay. We might want to consider if everybody can maybe start a little earlier, maybe 6:30. I don't know. You guys will have to let us know. Just going to be a lot to get through.
And Beth, the town accountant, was wondering if that same night she could present her Q1 review, Q2 review. Q2 review. I think it'll actually tie nicely into where we're heading
Okay.
into FY27. So it's probably a good idea to start the meeting with that.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Okay, annual town meeting date discussion. So Michelle and I had a brief conversation at one of the public safety forums about our town meeting is May the 4th or the 3rd. May 4th, town elections, May 9th. And based on the public safety conversation of when they're going to be ready or not ready or whatever, could we move out town meeting a couple of weeks to give the public safety group more time? And I don't believe that we can.
So we got the opinion back from council and we can delay town meeting. However, we cannot change the town election date. So people would be voting before they hear the presentations at town meeting. And I think we all agreed that that was just messy.
Yeah,
Essentially,
it's a moot point. We are where we are.
and I think based on the last presentation of the public safety working group, we will have cost estimates back. I believe second week in March for 135 King Street and third week in April for 62 Elm Street.
Yeah.
So I think we'll be in a good position once we hit town meeting floor to talk about the project as
I would like to get the select board updated on the scope of both projects and from where we were to where they are now, because I have just attending one forum, I have some major concerns. So if we decide at the end of this meeting, we're going to have a meeting next week, maybe we can talk about it then.
I think time is of the essence for that before they move forward with any
Okay,
cost estimates.
okay. All right, on to the town manager update.
I have anything this evening.
Okay, select board comments.
None for me.
Ms. Rollins, Mr.
Nope.
Grady,
No, none.
Mr. Plex.
Nothing to add tonight.
Okay, I will just add that I noted that Situate is entertaining, they're voting on tonight, a pilot program for out-of-town residents for their RTF.
Not the only ones.
Yep, so it was a good idea. Okay, so moving on to approval of minutes. We got the October 31st minutes, I believe, yesterday. Does anyone have any comments or questions? No, can I have a motion to approve the minutes of October 31st, 2025?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of December 19th, 2025?
So moved.
I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And finally, can I have a motion to approve the minutes of January 6, 2026?
So moved.
Have a second?
I wasn't present.
Second.
Julie Rollins, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Abstain?
Abstention.
Mr. Plex abstains. Okay,
December 19th, I
yeah,
abstain.
okay. So we had 3 ayes on December 19th. And Julie Rollins abstained. Okay. We have no topics. Okay, so upcoming meetings, January 27th, we're going to have to, I believe Erin or Lisa sent out a note about availability next Tuesday night. We're kind of getting into the thick of everything, and my personal preference is I'd rather meet once a week for 2 hours than every other week for 4 or 5 hours, as we get through some of these very heavy, important conversations. And I'm also open to doing some of these on Zoom as well. So I know Julie's available for the 27th. I'm available for the 27th. Mr. Plex?
I'm available for the 27th.
Okay, so we have a quorum. So we will meet on the 27th next Tuesday. And some of the items we deferred off this agenda.
And
Does that mean I
so-
don't have to come?
You know, you have to come, sorry.
You didn't even ask me. so-
Oh, Mr. Grady, can you come on the 27th?
I'm gonna blow it off. I'm good, you have a quorum.
Wait, can you come, Paul? Because then I won't come.
So for the 27th, do you want to have a Zoom meeting?
I
Since
really-
you're asking the MBTA to come, you're going to be asking for an update from the Public Safety Working Group, and they have plans which are easier to project on screen.
I'm
I
fine with
prefer-
Zoom.
I prefer Zoom if we could, for whatever meetings that we can.
Does Zoom work for you?
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, so we'll do the 27th. We'll do it on Zoom. Okay,
7 PM start.
7 PM. Michelle, and Erin, let's connect tomorrow morning. Chris, are you available tomorrow for an agenda meeting?
Yes,
We don't have it scheduled yet.
I can make it work.
We have a 10 o'clock for the health insurance. So after that.
I'm not available Thursday at all. So unless, Chris, you want to take it on Thursday, but we have to get it posted by Friday.
Thursday, I'm more available in the morning. Wednesday's a little tight. Can you do Thursday in the morning?
Wednesday until 11 AM.
It's up to you guys. I am not available at all on Wednesday.
Oh, you're
I
not.
mean, on Thursday. I'm not available at all on Thursday.
Could you Wednesday afternoon?
Yeah, Wednesday afternoon, 1 o'clock.
That's fine. Wednesday at 1, okay.
Great.
So that's tomorrow at 1. We'll set the agenda for the 27th, which will be on Zoom. Okay, anything else from anybody? No? Okay, so can I have a motion to adjourn at 9:11 PM?
So moved.
I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.